Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna kick off the first of many videos that I hope to do going forward that will have to do with F&B entrepreneurship in Singapore. And believe me, it's a lot more difficult than I thought, because there were like so many ideas that I had. How am I gonna deliver this content to all of you watching? Especially because in the previous video that I did, I actually had more than 1,000 views watching a 19-minute video of me just rambling on, ranting about my struggles as an entrepreneur in Singapore. And then I kind of realized, because I looked on YouTube, and then because YouTube is my go-to resource of a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and it's such an amazing platform. But yeah, and I realized that not many people actually talk about their struggles on YouTube, especially in Singapore. I think you would have CNA coverage on like early stage startups, like your Silicon Valley style kind of startups. But I mean, in Singapore, SMEs, they're like more than 55%. They contribute more than 55% to the GDP in Singapore, F&B as well as all across all other industries. But yeah, and then 14 years, being self-employed. My God, I had like, yeah, I just didn't know where to start. But I will do my best, because I am determined to make sure that that everyone walks away with some knowledge before they actually embark. So I'm gonna deliver the content in bite-sized pieces, pretty much like Dr. Berg style, 5 minute, 8 minutes, 3 minutes even. So depending on what comes up, I would try to do a really quick video. And since I'm using my iPhone, it makes everything a lot easier. Okay, anyway, let's start. Okay. So this is the lockdown right now. I'm sure a lot of you at home are thinking to yourself, hey, I've got a great idea. Now that is so important. I think for every single business, everything starts with a great idea, be it in food or any other industry, right? Facebook, you have Mark Zuckerberg. He had to approach Eduardo Severin for money, the Winklevoss twins for money, but we all know how that, what resulted, right? I mean, it was a very acrimonious kind of a split. And then you got very successful partnerships, right? Like the very famous Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. And I think that is the key the key topic that I would like to talk about. Like, you have a great idea right now, okay? You've identified something that you want to do in the space, and now you're looking for a partner or even partners. Now, what would be, and one of the things that I get asked most often is, hey, how many partners? In fact, they don't even ask me. They just tell me. I will be the one asking them, like, so how many partners do you have? Oh, I think I'm gonna have 5. So to me, that's a huge, huge red flag for any business that you want to start, right? I've seen a lot of businesses fail for a whole host of reasons, but I think the one big red flag that always comes up is, oh, I'm gonna have like 4 partners, I'm gonna have 5 partners, 6 partners, 7 partners. I've even heard of like 100 partners. Okay, so basically those are the ones where they had this really great idea, and you as the founder don't want to put in any money at all, and you go around asking people, hey, I got this, blah blah blah, and can you for like, I don't know, like 20 grand, you own like 1% of the company, or like 0.5% of the company, or something along those lines. Okay, look, I have my own reservations about that approach. Why? Is because I always believe in skin in the game. I always think that you need to risk your own capital for reasons that at least that you would, yeah, skin in the game. There is a book written on it. So anyway, skin in the game. I'm not gonna get into the details, but yeah, as an entrepreneur, as a founder, I think it's important to definitely risk your own capital. And if you're gonna have 5 partners do like a F&B business, I think it's a super bad idea. In fact, I think it's a very bad idea. So let me just give you what I think would be an ideal partner and some of the very successful partnerships I've actually observed over the last 14 years. I would actually start with my own personal experience, and that's a husband and wife partnership, right? The husband and wife partnership is actually something super, super powerful, especially if you have a skill set that would complement each other, right? So having said that, it could be someone that you're really close to, and again, complementary skills. And if you are single, let's say you are, fresh out of school. Anyway, if you're fresh out of school, I could really recommend not starting anything, which is why most of the people, when they're fresh out of school, they will approach their parents for money, and then, there's some kind of funny concept, and then it closes down. Okay, but more on that on another video, but let's just talk about today. Yeah, how many partners? So so if you're single, and then what would be an ideal partner? Just one. Maximum 2, but ideally just one. You have a great idea. If you have a technical skill set, you would then look for someone who could complement you in terms of marketing. Like for myself, I think my skill set was really in I think I can communicate quite well. I think my wife is kind of like the same. She can communicate quite well. And both of us, prior to us starting the first business, we were both in the sales environment. We worked for a company called Canon. Yes, the Canon camera. And I was a sales specialist actually. So I think with any great business, I think it's important to know how to sell yourself, to sell the product. And I think that's a very, very important skill set to have prior to even starting that business. But looking for a partner, and what you would want to identify in a partner is somebody. So let's say if you are a very good chef, you would need somebody who's gonna be able to, organize, your customers, your table layouts, and basically all the miscellaneous stuffs outside the kitchen, because I think it's there's so many moving parts, right, in the F&B in the F&B space. But primarily, if you're gonna be doing those 2 things, or that single function, which is prepping the food, then you would need somebody who will be able to complement you, to complement your technical skill set in that sense. Why do I discourage people from having too many partners? Well, the very famous saying, right? Too many cooks will spoil the broth. Of course, if you're looking at like, okay, I'm going to get 10 partners, out of which 8 will just be sleeping partners. Well, it might work, because the most important thing about any F&B business is money, as with almost all startups in a sense, right? If you're not gonna have money, and that's the ugly truth, if you're not gonna have any cash at all to start any business, then please just drop the idea, work really, 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 really hard now, earn as much as you can, and then embark on that crazy idea where you could potentially end up with no money at all. Okay? So these are the hard truths about starting your own business. All right? If you want to borrow, and then if one day you're not going to be able to repay that loan, and you're going to feel good about self, by all means go ahead. All right? Because that is just something that you will have to live with. So, but yeah, when I started the first business, we had some loans obviously that we had to take on. I borrowed from the banks, and I literally wiped out my entire savings, right, to start the first business. And yeah, and I repaid those loans along the way. I felt really good about myself, and I think that is something that I would encourage all of you to do as well. I mean, out of good faith, you find investors that believes in you, and I think it's it's only right, it's the right thing to do to at least return or repay this debt. There are many problems that I find with having too many partners. If the business does well, you would have a situation where the founder or like the main founders, like again, Facebook, right? You saw how they split. Well, because Facebook was doing really well, and then you get greedy as the founder, and you be like, okay, how can I just pay people off or like get rid of them, because I want this all for myself, and stuff like that. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. Which is why I think that as an entrepreneur myself, it has kind of like worked out for me, in a way. Like I always believe in just really risking your own capital. So like if the business does really badly and you will have to eventually close it down, you basically lick your own wounds, and you don't have to like be really you don't have to like be very apologetic to all the people who actually believed in you, who invested money with you. And I just don't want to get myself into that situation. And you see, those are it's the two sides of the same coin. One, success. The other side, it's failure. And that's how it is, right? So if you are risking your own capital, and if you are just if you're just writing things out, with another co-founder or with another partner, I think it would be a lot easier. Damage would be more contained. So that is the reason why I don't like having a lot of partners. Like having too many partners, it's also another red flag for me, because it just means that you're not confident enough. So if you are, and I will always say this, starting a business is not for everyone, right? Being an entrepreneur is really not for everyone. It's the road less traveled, and it's just one of those things that I feel very, very strongly about. I think that businesses should be limited, or any new startups, or especially in the F&B space, should only be limited to just one, if you can. And if if your partner or your wife is very encouraging, awesome. If they're not, then again, I would just say forget it. Just drop the idea, okay? And if you don't have any money, and if you want to raise the money, again, sure you can, but just make sure you do your research before you even start, because again, that failure rate, it's a very, very big 90% that you will fail. All right. So yeah, so that's it for today's video. Okay, can you imagine? It's really 13 minutes, my God. And it's just what I thought would be a very short video about partnerships or partners. It's actually 13 minutes long. I will do better in the next video, and talk to you again.